going. Timber!
There's what the problem was with that big spruce.
Yeah, it's cracking here.
Lifted the patio up and ruined it. In spite of how much I enjoy these big trees, there's one here that's gotta go. It's pushing the patio up, and there's a big root even grown under the foundation of the house. And it'll probably be doing the same to it. So we have the neighbor boy here, who is a professional tree faller, came over, and we're going to put this tree down. As much as I hate to, we're going to have to get rid of it. First, some little stuff must go that's right in the path of where the tree is, so it won't fall down quite right. So we'll take out the little stuff and be ready for the big guy. The woods is no longer quiet and peaceful with the deafening roar of the big chainsaws. I really hate to do this, but with that big tree sending those roots under the foundation, it'll be shoving the house up next, since it's already ruined the patio, and it's doing some damage to the roof. All the branches and needles and everything are falling on the roof, and it'll be causing it to leak pretty soon. When we first built this house, these are very pretty little trees, and they looked really nice there, but they just kind of outgrew their space. But anyway, after we take them out, then we can get some other species of tree to go in there. The spruce isn't in style too much. Back during the World War II, they had what they called the spruce board, and they went around and gathered up spruce trees to make the framework for airplanes out of. For a while there was a fair market for spruce trees. They were shipping it to China, where they built furniture, and some say they even built coffins out of the spruce. I really like to work with spruce because it is a very lightweight, tough wood, but so it was excellent for airplane frames and that sort of thing. But one thing about spruce, it will not stand moisture, so it has to be in a constantly dry place. I built a canoe and a 16-foot boat using the spruce for the framework, and it was very nice to work with. One thing, I will not let any of this go to waste. I haven't totally decided what I'm going to do with it, but it won't go to waste. The silence of the woods is interrupted briefly by the roar of powerful chainsaws as the sharp, razor-sharp chain digs in to the wood of the spruce tree, bringing it closer and closer to falling with every stroke of the piston. We're somewhat concerned about this big spruce tree being so close to the house, Normally we wouldn't have to put ropes and go through all that precautions on it, but we can't afford even a little mistake on this, or all of our remodeling work that we've been doing would be down the tube. Matt very carefully measures to cut out a spot to put the jack in, and then you'll see him stop a few times and walk around the tree just to see where the chain is so he can line it up with a perfect cut. There's sort of a hinge it makes on there, and you have to have them in just the right place. So there's perfection in cutting a giant tree like this down. He'll plunge cut a hole in the tree to put a big house jack or a tree jack in, and he's measuring carefully to see that he gets it the right height, and then we'll be able to jack that tree. It's leaning toward the house. As it grew toward the opening. It wanted the light, so it grew toward the house and bowed toward the house somewhat. So we've got to be really careful to jack it back and get it to tip the right direction. The hole that has been carved into the tree here will be where the jack will set, and it's got to be pretty much perfect too. And we'll put a piece of iron on top of the jack so the head of the jack doesn't sink into the tree, and it's got a lot of lifting to do to lift that tree back over, and we can't afford a mistake on the jack's part too. If it suddenly stopped working, we'd be in big trouble. Some of the pitchy sap is running down the trunk of the tree. The Indians used to gather this and use it for various things. One of the things, they would weave baskets out of reeds and sedges from the swamps and paint it with this pitch, and it would make it waterproof, and they could actually boil food in it by filling it full of water and dropping hot rocks into it. Everyone is very quiet at this point of time. I guess it's the tension of this because we got to make sure we do it right, and we don't want to have a very costly mistake like a big tree coming down on the house would be a disaster. First, the notch is very carefully cut out. It has to be in just the right direction because that all has a bearing in which direction the tree is going to fall. And you have to keep everything level and straight or you'll never know where that tree is going to land. So we see Matt very carefully keeping an eye on where the chain is on the other side. And this tree's big enough it's kind of difficult to see just where it's going, but we're past the point of no return now. So this tree Matt's told us this is a very difficult tree with more than one top, so you never really know what it's going to do. And also there's a bunch of dead crap up in the top of the tree, dead limbs and things like this. And he said when this thing starts to go, we need to run away from it because it'll throw, when it lands, it'll break off a bunch of those great big limbs and throw them back at us. So when this tree starts to go, we'll get the heck out of there. He very meticulously checks periodically to see that his saw kerfs are lining up so it'll fall straight down. And if he didn't do that, there'd be much more chance of an accident happening. But if you're a tree faller, you have to be super meticulous about it. It's not an easy job that you can take light. Besides, those chainsaws are really tough to haul up and down the mountain. They're heavy and big, and so you have to build up some muscles. He has a saw and a spare saw that he keeps them both running when he's in the tree like this, because if one saw suddenly breaks or quits, you have to have another. By now, the tree is starting to feel some of the stress of the wedges and the jack and the chainsaw cut. The crack is starting to open a little bit, meaning the jacks and the wedges are working, pulling the tree back up to where it's more straight up and down. So all we can do is just keep jacking on the jack and hoping nothing breaks or fails on us, and this job will be done in not very long a period of time.
So you don't need me to pull on that pickup?
I don't guess so. By this time, the giant tree is starting to crack.
Come on, Bucker.
And its last, but not too fast.
Go on. Go on. Timber!
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Yes.
Let's see what.
a small stick is laid across the notch so he can line it up from the other side of the tree and won't have to walk clear around each time. And it's got to be just exactly in the right place.
There it goes. Get out of the way. Wow. Ah, timber. Wow.
There's what the problem was with that big spruce.
Yeah, it's cracking your...
Lifted the patio up and ruined it.
I'm going to take a picture of this stump here.
Can you get up and walk down the big log?
What?
Can you walk down the big log?
There. That's good. He got it done. I got a text message from Dwayne just then.
Our son Dwayne wanted to be here to help
I can
with
get
this
around
tree, but he couldn't be here today,
There.
and we just can't wait any longer. So Marge will keep
Right
in
here.
touch with him also.
Look at there's the other part sticking out.